Hello and welcome to this tutorial on arrays, and here we will talk about the introductory part of the array. So take a situation in which we have 10 students in a class and we are asked to write a program that reads and prints the marks of all these 10 students. So particularly in this program we will need obviously 10 integer variables with different names. As you can see on your screen that we have these 10 variables of type integer m1 to m10, and from here the user enter the marks, and scanf we take these marks in these variables m1 m2 using scanf, and finally we are going to printf, right? So now you can see that now to read the values of these 10 different variables we must have 10 read statement obviously. And although we have not written the 10, but we have subsequently merged it into one scanf. But anyhow, if you do not want to do it, then one by one, if you want to do it, then we have to write the 10 different read statement using the scanf. So similarly, if the print value of these variables individually, if you want to print it, then we print f it using 10 different printf statements. And here in this particular example we have taken only one single printf statement, but anyway. So if it is a matter of 10 variable, then it might be acceptable, as you can see on your screen, for the user to follow this approach. But now imagine, will it be possible to follow this approach if we had to read and print the marks of the students in the entire course? For example, we have say 100 students in a particular course, or we have 500 students in an entire college, or 10,000 students in an entire university. So definitely the answer to this is no. So to process large amount of data, we need obviously a data structure that can handle this large amount of data. So that particular data structure which can handle such a large amount of data is what we call as an array. Okay. So from now onwards, what is an array? Array is nothing more than a data structure through which we can process the large amount of data. So now there are some points that we need to keep in mind, that an array is just a collection of similar data type, right? So what I'm saying is that it is a collection of similar data types. Okay, so this is the one point, because see, whatever we are storing inside that particular array, this data structure, the type of that should be same. Okay, the second point that we need to understand is that the elements of the array are stored in consecutive memory locations, right? So if we have started storing something in array, and let's the initial address where the first element of this particular array is being stored, let us assume that the address is 1000, right? So then depending upon the type, the next element will be at the location of 1004, for example, in case we are storing the integer, and integer is going to take the 4 bytes in your memory. So likewise, the next element that we are going to store is 11008. If we are considering that we are storing what? We are storing an integer data, and int is taking 4 bytes in your computer. So the meaning here is that the key point here is that the elements of an array are always stored in consecutive memory location and are referenced by what we call as an index. Okay. So what is an index? Indexing is nothing more than a subscript. Okay, we will see the examples, what is the subscript and how we are going to actually play with all these things. But as of now, just focus on that this array is nothing more than the collection of similar data types, and whatever the data type that we are going to store, the elements of these array will store in a continuous memory, consecutive memory locations. Okay. So for example, if I will take one more example, then if we are going to store some character values, and inside this array, so all the elements should be of character type only if we have declared this particular array as a character type. And how the elements inside this character type array will be stored, obviously in the consecutive memory location. So for example, if we have started with 1000 again, then the next memory will be what? The next memory location will be 1001. Why? Because we know that character is going to take 1 byte in the computer memory space. So the third element will be 1002, like this, right? Okay. Now Pretty simple. So some examples where we can use the concept of array may include the list of temperatures recorded on every day of the month. We can record this temperature. List of employees in a company, we can record it using the array. List of students in a class, list of products sold, and list of customers, right? So meaning is that whenever we want to process a large amount of data, we can take the help of these array. Now coming to how we are going to declare them. Okay, declare array, how we are going to declare them. So simply, very simple, that how we are going to declare is that using the type, we just need to write what data type, what type of the array, the element that is going to store, what type of those elements are. So we need to declare the type of that array, then we're going to declare the name of that particular array, and in this particular subscript, we are going to declare the size. Okay, so this is what. So here if I will give an example, then if I'm going to write int marks, and then this is 10 for example. So what does it mean? It means that we have declared marks variable to be an array containing 10 elements. So this array is being now, this marks is being declared as an array which is going to store 10 elements, and the array index, what we call as the subscript, start from 0, right? And this particular marks is of integer type. What does it mean? It means that whatever the element that we are going to store inside this array called marks, it is of integer type, right? And the first element will always start with the subscript 0. That is, the first element will be stored where? The first element will be stored at the marks 0. So right, and similarly the second element will be stored at the marks 1, and then we have marks 3, so on, right? So this is how we are going to see the elements of this particular array. Okay, so obviously where will the last element, for example we had the size of 10 here, so where will the last element will be stored? Obviously that will be stored in marks of 9, right? So this is what, right? Now, there are few things that we need to remember in case of the in case of these arrays. One is that C does not allow declaring an array whose number of elements is not known at the compile time. So, for example, if we are going to declare like int air, and this is the declaration that we have given on program. So please mind it that this is illegal in C. We cannot do it because we have not declared the size of this particular array in the subscript. We have not declared anything. So at the compile time, C does not know what is the size of this particular array. So likewise, if we are going to declare it as int array, and we have declared is n, so we are going to put some n inside this subscript with the motivation that the size of this array will be n, but we have not initialized this particular n. So again, this situation is actually not an error here, but what will happen is that the result of this will be very unpredictable. So why unpredictable? For example, if I will give an example here, that let us suppose that we have int n equals to 10 here, and we have declared int air of 10, right? So if you try to fetch the 11th element, so where is the 11th element? That will be present obviously at the 10th location. So the result of this will be very unpredictable. So maybe from the random memory location, it will fetch some garbage value. So the meaning is that the C compiler will not raise any error in declaring this particular int array n. This is not compilation error, but the result of running such code is totally unpredictable. So this we should keep in mind. So whenever we are going to declare the size, we should declare it explicitly. What will be the size of this particular array? Not only declaring the variable and putting that variable inside this particular array is not no good approach. Although there is no compilation error, but the results will always unpredictable. So what is a good approach? The good approach should be like this only. So for example, this is, let me delete this. So if you are going to declare an array, right, and the size of this array is 10, so it means that we can store 10 elements starting from index 0 to up to up to 9, so that becomes 10, right? So, and if you want to fetch the 10th element, we do not know what the result, but obviously the last element will be stored at the array of 9. So this is what, right? So we should keep it in mind that these things while declaring then a particular array. The second thing is that it is always a good programming practice to define the size of an array as a symbolic constant. For example, what is a symbolic constant? If I'm going to declare an array, then I should declare the size as hash define. Let us say the size of this particular array I want to declare as 100. So I should declare it as r and then n. So what does it mean? It means that now this particular hash define, this particular, through this directive, what we are saying, we are saying that no, n, this particular n is constant. So we cannot change the value of n within the program, right? We cannot change it. So once we are going to declare a particular variable using this hash define, we cannot change the value of this n inside the program. So obviously, so this is a good programming approach. Whenever you are declaring the size, you should declare it using this particular hash define by explicitly saying the size and explicitly mentioning that this particular n variable cannot be changed further now, because we have used this hash define before this particular n. And obviously the size of this particular array is 100 and it is of type integer, means that it is going to take integer values. Okay, so this is what. So these are the few points that we need to keep in mind while we are going to declare an array. Okay, now let's come to how we are going to access. So let me come to the accessing part. Accessing the array element. So how we are going to, please bear with me if you have some spelling mistakes, please correct it, because I'm just typing it and sometimes it happens that during typing it get. Okay, so this is accessing the array of elements. So what we will do for accessing an element, in individual elements of an array, the array subscript must be used. For example, to access the fourth element of an array, and we have declared this 100 size. Here we have declared the 100 size here using the hash define. Okay, let me delete these things, otherwise it will make confusion here. So okay, like this. So I want to fetch the fourth element. So what will be the fourth element? How we are going to fetch it? Obviously r and then 3. So only just using this subscript we can fetch the content of that particular array. So the subscript index must be an integral value or an expression that evaluate to an integral value, right? So this is what. And the second thing is that we can even fetch the content of the array using what we called as for loop also. So let me give an example here. So let me delete all these things, and we have this main, and inside this main what we are going to do is that we are going to declare a variable I, and we have again one marks, and let me define this hash define n, and this is 10. So what does it mean? It means that we have declared a variable which we cannot change in the program, and the size of array is obviously 10 here, right? And this is of integer type that we have declared. Now using the for loop, I just copy to initialize each element of an array. For example, what I'm doing here is, let's see this first. So I'm just applying one for loop here, and here we have I equals to 0, and we have started it and then initialized, and then the testing condition, and then we have I plus plus, and here what I'm doing is that I'm just printf, what is I'm going to printf? Printf what? The printf, this is something %d, and what I'm doing here is that I'm just doing the marks. Okay, let me see it is correct or not. And this is I. Okay, and before that I'm just doing one logic, that is marks is what? This is when we are standing at some array position using marks I, what we are doing, we are just making is as equals to -1, right? So what I actually am doing is that every individual elements of an array and sets its value to -1. So we just keep on accessing the elements of this array, and so how we are going to access this, because when the I value is 0, for example here I value is 0, so where we are standing at I marks of 0, meaning we are just fetching the first mark, right? And we are just setting this value to -1. So this loop will start from 0 and it will continue up to I less than 10, and for each x and fetching each elements of the array, and it is going to set the value to -1, and then it is going to print, right? So this is what we have done. Okay, so now this is what. So if I want to run it, can you tell me that what will be the output? So here if you can see that initially we have marks of I, marks of 0, we do not know at because we have not initialized this array. We have only declared the array, but we have not initialized. So maybe some random values are there whenever we are going to try to fetch the marks of 0, marks of 1, marks of 2. So whatever the random variable will get, we are just going to assign -1 there. So that's the meaning of this. So let's try to run it and see what will be the output. Okay, so here what is expected primary expression token before. Okay, so what we have done here is that we do not, please mind it, this was a mistake that we have done. We should not put the semicolon whenever we are going to declare a particular variable n with a hash defined. So that was a mistake. Sometimes we skip this. So okay, so now let's try to compile it. So this is what, right? So now array is being printed with the value of -1, -1, -1, and all are -1 because we have set it. So this is what. So the meaning is that whenever we are going to declare a variable, we this array, we just need to use this particular hash define. It is not a compulsory, but it is a good practice. Okay, so we do not need to put this particular semicolon after this. Then we have used this particular for loop, and using this particular for loop, we are going to access the content of this array, and one by one we are going to set the -1 there at the particular respective positions, right? So this is what. Okay, so now coming to the second thing is that how we are going to calculate the address of array elements, right? How we are going to calculate the address. So as I said in the very initial introductory part, that whenever we are going to declare an array, for example, I'm going to declare this particular array only. For here we have declared the marks as integer. This array is of integer type. Obviously it is going to take the integer values. So the array name itself, this particular marks, is in fact is a type of a symbolic reference for the address to the first byte of an array. So what I'm saying here is that the name of the array, what is the name of the array here? The name of the array here is obviously marks. So is a symboli, symbolic reference to the first byte of to the first byte of the array. So what does it mean? It means that this marks is actually indicating or reference to the first byte address, to the first byte, a reference for the first address, a reference for the first byte of first byte address, right? This one, address of the array. So for example, this particular marks that we are going to store, for example, we are going to store some values in this particular. So the marks itself is a symbolic reference. So this marks is actually indicating the first byte address. So wherever the first element is going to be stored, where the first element is going to be stored, obviously the first element is going to be stored at the position 0, right? So let us suppose that I just want to store 2, 5, 8, 9, 7 like this, right? Like this we want to store in the array. So where will be the 2 will be stored? 2 will be stored obviously in the marks of 0. So what will be the address of this 2? Where the 2 is being stored? What will be the address? So that particular address is being referenced, is being indicated by using this particular marks only. If you are going to use this particular mark, it itself is going to indicate the address of the element 2. Where the 2 is being stored? The 2 is being stored at the, because it is the first element, it obviously it is going to be stored at the subscript 0, right? Index position 0. So this is what, right? So let us suppose, let us give in a hypothetical situation that this we have this subscript 0, and then we have subscript 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So the address of these subscripts, let us suppose this is 100, this is 100, and the second one is, let us suppose, let me take this scenario first. Okay, so this is because marks is of integer type, and assume that because for the integer in my computer, the integer is going to take the 2 bytes, for example. So what will be the next address where the second element, what is the second element? The second element will be 5. So where it will be stored? Obviously this first element will be stored in the marks 0. Okay, this is a subscript, and the second will be stored at marks of 1. The third will be stored at here 2, and so on, right? So this is the position, this is the subscript, this is the subscript position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. So the obviously the first element, what is the first element? 2 will be stored in the marks of 0 or at the 0th position, and let us suppose the address is this 100. At the 100 position the element is 2 is stored. So this 100 is being referenced by this particular mark, right? Marks, this array name, right? So we know that in my computer that it is going to take the 2 bytes. So what will be the next address? So the next address will definitely will be 10102. Okay, and then the next to this will be 104, like this. So if I want to fetch address of this particular where the fifth element, where this particular 5 is stored, where the 5 is stored, obviously the 5 will be stored in the marks of 1. So what will be the address? This is 102. If I want to fetch this, so what I will simply write, I am going to write this marks, because marks is going to represent the 100, and then I'm just going to put the offset. What is the offset where I'm going to fetch it? I'm just going to fetch it through the 1. So it means that here I'm going to fetching the element 5 here. But what about the address? How I'm going to fetch the address 102? How I'm going to fetch that, right? So this is something fetching marks of 1 is how actually computers knows that at the marks of 1 we have 5. How does it how the computer knows, how the programs, how the C will know this, right thing? So for this we know that for the marks the base address is 100, because marks is representing the 100 as a base address, as we see that the array name is a symbolic reference to the first byte address. So what is the first byte address here? It is 100. So 100 then plus what is the content that you are going to store inside the memory, inside the array? Obviously the integer. So integer is going to take the 2 bytes here. Okay, so integer is going to take the 2 bytes, and what we are going to fetch, is we are going to fetch the the kth byte. What is the kth byte? Meaning I am going to just fetching the first byte, then I am going to fetch what is the lower bound. Lower bound or index is always 0. So the formula for calculating the address will become like this. The base address, then plus number of bytes and element, number of byte size and element is taken, and then multiplied by the index position you want to fetch minus what we call as the lower bound. So as you can see that the base address is 100, The number of bytes an element is taking, obviously because the element that we are going to store here is integer type, so it is going to take the 2 bytes, so 2. Index position you want to fetch, I just want to fetch the index position 1 because I just want to see where the 5 is being stored. So this is index position here will be 1. And what is the lower bound? So lower bound obviously is always in the case of the array 0. So this becomes 100 plus obviously 2, that turns out to be 1002. So that this is how the C actually knows that where this particular element 5 is being stored, right? So it is being stored at the this particular 102 position. Okay, so this is how we are going to calculate the address of an array element. Okay, now in the next tutorial we will talk about how we are going to store the values. Although some part of that we have already seen, but from the very starting we will talk about how actually we are going to store the values in the array. For this tutorial, I think it's fine, and see you in the next tutorial then.